So if I want to be precise, I use two words that are not very commonly used. One is manifestation, and manifestation for me is the conclusion of how something should turn up. And there's also just looking at the result of the target, and that is actualization. So when I have a target, let's say I dream of a beautiful vacation. There are very easy ways to manifest that. And that is basically, for example, going to a travel agency, booking a nice vacation, finding people who go with me, and enjoying there. Even though I made it happen by conscious choice, paid for it, and all of that, it's still manifestation. And there is nothing wrong with manifesting in that way. There is a very interesting belief that something is only spiritually valuable when you got gifted it by the universe. And that is a very interesting point of view because it keeps you from your desires. But I still have the point of view that I really want to have a wonderful vacation, but I have reasons not to go to a travel agency. And then I'm still open for the vacation to actualize. Like friends could invite me to come to their house, or I win something, or whatever. And that is where I actually do not care how it shows up. And that is usually more powerful because it gives the universe more leeway. But let me go into the concept of, let's just call it manifestation because most people call it that way. The thing that led me on my path is I had a manifestation recipe and I used that, and suddenly reality started to change in a crazy way. I'm a mathematician, I'm a scientist in many ways. And that is exactly why in that moment I could not close my eyes anymore and say, well, I understand lots about physics. I thought I understood how reality works. But all of those coincidences led me to the awareness that this is the pattern that works in a way that is not explainable by physics. Yet I won't share the techniques right now, even though many people obviously are longing for finally manifesting the $1 million or the fast car or whatever. And it's possible, but I wouldn't advise it. And there's a reason. Our thoughts create. Like there is a three-step process of creation. We think, we speak, and we do. And with those three things, we can create everything. And when we put a lot of emphasis on thinking, on visualizing a reality that we have created as a fantasy that we would really like for us, that fantasy tends to show up. But there is a caveat. There's something it might be good to be aware of. And that is when we create the reality for us through, like, there's so many manifestation tools out there. For example, creating a vision board is like a small scale manifestation, and it works. It really works. But when we give a lot of focus of creating a reality inside of us, living inside ourselves in that world that we would like to force onto the outside world by the power of our thoughts, we can do it. And when we then, even though that reality showed up, keep doing our work, sustain itself for a while. But what happens, in my point of view, is we create a distortion in the mirror. When, let's say, somebody has a good reason to create a lot of money, a good reason in the sense of he wants to start a business and his heart is really passionate about, but he is not really willing to receive. He has not done his work on his willingness to receive everything from the universe. He has not done his work on being ready to receive all energies. He's not done his work on letting go of all of his hate of money and all of has not really embraced the love of his money. He has a lot of beliefs about that many rich people are not nice, or that the focus of money creates distortion in the environment and all of that. Like if he didn't really do his work, what very well might happen is that he creates circumstances where he receives a lot of money, and a short time afterwards he will lose it again. Maybe he will start his business and his business will fail. Maybe he will just have other accidents that cost a lot of money. Maybe he will be robbed, whatever. Like this pattern that in my reality is kind of common, that when people use manifestation techniques in too much or in a way that is not small, the reality is created and then it falls down again. Why? One of the biggest principles in this reality is it mirrors us. Our outside world is a wonderful picture of our inside world. Our willingness to receive is exactly mirrored in our outside world, where just stuff is coming to us. Money and love and beauty and all of that. When we now use our mind or different techniques in order to create a distortion in the mirror, where we receive something that is not really a mirror of us, after a while the mirror has to readjust. And the problem with that is not so much that you lose something, that like it's not so much. In the end, we could also have the point of view that it's no problem because I created something and then it went away, and therefore I'm in the same situation as before. The challenge is when we lose something, we are very sad. We are like, when being with a little money is harder after you had money than if you never experienced having money before. We have a lot of projections about how sad people must be because they have little money, because we know when we had plenty or a comfortable amount, then we would be very sad for a time when we had to live with little money. Because it's true for us. So, is there a way to manifest that is sustainable? Yes. And I mentioned it a few times already today. Ask the universe, hey universe, can I get that please? Very specific, gentle, and be connected with that from the heart. Like many people ask for $1 million because they do not want they do not know what to do with their life, and therefore they think, well, I'll be rich, I'll probably be happy, therefore I'll take that. And it doesn't work that way. The universe fulfills every desire that is true to your heart. And if money is a side effect of what is true to your heart, money is available. It's just a concept. When you ask for money because you are unwilling to look what your heart truly aches for, what are the true desires for your heart, might be challenging. Might also work. Ask the universe, and then do and be everything aligned with that ask. How do I know what that means? How do I know what it means to be and do everything that is in line with that ask? For people who are sensitive to energies, the answer is very simple, in the sense of when you do that ask, an energy is going to come up that you can feel. And whenever something feels just a little bit like that energy, it's just an invitation to do it. Even if it's strange. Because sometimes, like, for example, let's say you have a business and you're asking for a bigger level of success with that business. And obviously that means not sitting downstairs meditating all day, because that would just stop the business if you're a relevant person in the business. But sometimes in one evening it might be, well, I should really do some more work because there's a lot of stuff to do and I can see how everything is progressing. But you have this other voice that is basically calling you to go to a party. And your mind is saying, don't be stupid, you can't go to that party. You have to work because you asked for success in your business, and that means you have to work. But if that voice has the energy of your ask, my invitation will always be to follow that energy. And you might meet somebody at the party that solves your problem that otherwise you would have needed months or years to solve. You might meet somebody who invests in your business. You might meet somebody who gives you something that inspires you to come up with a new product idea that is much more successful than everything that you had before, or whatever. Manifesting can also be used in order to distract us from our path. In the sense of, yes, I'll follow my calling when I get that. And therefore, I'll manifest that first. And sometimes following a calling just means following a calling. From my point of view, getting out of all that manifestation techniques and just asking questions is very relaxing, because you don't have to do anything except for being aware, asking questions every moment of every day.